Get ready, boys.
Sometimes it does. Right as we should just start the show, but our producer Ryan, aka
Hot fudge. Or is that right?
No, it's another new
Hot
one.
chocolate? What is it?
You started with chocolate thunder.
Oh,
then we
chocolate
went
thunder.
with big fudge. Then you went with hot chocolate, and now tonight's hot fudge, and I love it.
They're all close.
Oh,
We need to get him a hat or something.
oh my God! I was gonna say. Ryan
Just
said
so with the writing on it.
clicking it as if we're about to go live,
Like a
and
captain's
then
hat.
it's always a bit of a waiting game. Is it going to go immediately, or is it going to be a second or two? And Lutz whispers to me, "Does clicking it mean anything?" And
Well, I
then we
just
heard
wonder
the
when
drop.
he says click it, does that mean we're live?
No, it means we're about to go live.
Well, then don't say nothing at all. We're just going to sit here until
Well, he's giving us a heads up because
And
when our old producer, as Sam likes to say, R.I.P. John, even though he's very much live,
has been.
John used to say, "We're live," and we'd all go, how about some warning? Ryan gives us warning. Anyway, that's enough behind the curtain with the hot fudge, big fudge, chocolate thunder, whatever it is. Start the pregame show right now.
It's that one.
This is the DLLS Stars Pregame Show. Craig Ludwig. I'm Owen Newkirk. We have Sam Nestler with us as well. No, we don't. We have Sean Shapiro.
Oh, that was
we
like,
don't
wait,
have
what?
Sam. I know. No Sam tonight, but we do have Ryan, insert nickname here, Vaughters, our producer. What are you going with tonight?
I'm going some hot fudge.
Hot
I
fudge.
think that's it.
All right,
Let's
we're
go
going with hot fudge tonight. Maybe a little whipped cream and a cherry
What
on
was the
top.
original one though?
Chocolate Thunder.
Chocolate
That was
Thunder.
because of Daryl Dawkins.
No,
And-
but somebody typed that in, right?
Yes.
Isn't that how this
and
started? Okay.
Ryan did.
Oh, you calling yourself?
He put it in the chat because they
Oh.
were talking about Daryl Dawkins because of the broken glass.
Self-proclaimed hot thunder. Or
And
what is it now?
you did.
Ugh.
Again.
Let's just go.
There are about 5 or 6 words, and it's a Rolodex. Just spin the wheel and see which 2 Luds lands on. I love it. Every time it's different.
Chocolate thunder?
That was the first one.
Chocolate thunder. Okay, I got it now.
Hot Thunder's a new one. Actually, kind of like that one, Ryan. Sean's here. Oh, no Sam tonight. Let's start over. Lineup news. Nils Lundqvist is back after missing the last 2 games due to injury. The Stars are playing the LA Kings tonight. Oh, wait. I got to mention the hats. I almost forgot the hats, guys. I was getting ahead of myself. Let's look at those new hats. Don't forget, the new All City Headwear collection for DLS is available right now. AllDLS.com. Check them out. 4 new ones. There also is a Cowboys one that was released previously that has more of the Cowboys colors of that DLS script. But we have the Mavs and Stars there. Of course, the flag one and the crest with little ferns or whatever they call those.
See, I was going to say, that seems like a Chrysler logo.
A little bit.
Kind of like the Chrysler cars over there. Is that
So
what that
if you're in the area of American Automotives, where coincidentally enough, Luds, that's where Sean lives, is
Oh, yeah.
in and around Detroit. So
I heard
he's
there's a big tire on the highway there somewhere.
a big tire.
I hear it's still sitting out there. Is that right, Sean? Is there a big
Sean,
tire
is there a
out there?
big tire near where you live on the highway?
A big tire, like just on purpose, or just like someone lost one? I'm kind of confused.
The big tire when you get in. The big tire.
You mean like a landmark or something?
Yes. My God, Sean should know that.
Sean, you have to find out, is there a giant tire?
Yes, that's on the way to the airport, between downtown and the airport. And every time you land,
Oh,
it goes, hey, is there a big tire
okay.
anywhere around here? I mean, it's like 3 stories high.
Okay, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently there
I
is,
was
and you're not
assuming-
completely losing it. Big fudge.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about this Nils Lundqvist thing. He's back, and so because of it, Vladislav Kolyachonok is been put on waivers today. If he clears tomorrow, he will be sent to the AHL's Texas Stars. He passed the 10-game threshold. I think he's played 11, so he has to go on waivers again after clearing it at the beginning of the season. Luds, I'm going to ask you about his play, but before I do, I want to ask Sean a procedural question. Are you at all concerned about Kolyachonok getting picked up on waivers?
I think it's a smart piece of business for another NHL team. He's a proven over the last couple of games. Luds can go more about his play, but he's been solid stopgap and he can be an ideal seventh defenseman for a good team. He can be a third pairing. He can play regular third pairing minutes for a middling to bad team. And there's a lot of those in the NHL where and his contract is really easy to fit under. So honestly, it's one of those moves that I look at it from just looking at rosters across the league and everything like that. And it wouldn't surprise me if there was 2 or 3 teams that put a claim in for him. Just to be perfectly honest.
If a coach called me and somebody asked me about it and said, would you claim this guy? I'd say absolutely. In my opinion, just the way that he played, especially the team that he's playing with and the guys that he's playing with, it just shows you that he can play with elite players. He makes the right passes, plays. Right in the beginning, I thought he was a little slow in reacting to things, but again, I think that's kind of natural. But I think as the games that he got into and the more he got involved, he skates well. He gets up the ice. Big body, long reach. For me, it just as Sean would say, I said if you're looking for a number 5, number 6, number 7, whatever, I definitely would recommend him.
I feel the same way, and I felt like we went from you got a piece in the Matt Dumba trade this summer, right? The Matt Dumba trade was all about getting rid of cap space or opening up cap space, getting rid of a contract so you could make things like the Mikko Rantanen contract fit. Mm-hmm. The Matt Duchene got a new deal. The Wyatt Johnson raised the Jake Ottinger money. All that stuff had to fit. And so just to get Pittsburgh to take the Matt Dumba contract was good enough. The fact that they also got a piece back, and we said, well, if it's something great, if he's not, no big deal. And I didn't get the same impression in training camp and preseason. It was okay, but seeing him play real games, real regular season games, I got a better feeling. You go, now it's kind of a depth piece. Like, he's clearly not going to be in your top 6 right now, but you'd love to have him if more injuries pile up.
For sure. Like I said, I just think he did I thought he continually got better. And I think a lot of that had to do with confidence. When he was in a regular rotation and the more minutes he got, I thought the better he got.
Sean, we look at Capobianco is going to be the healthy scratch to make room for Nils getting back in the lineup tonight. He's another guy who's past the threshold and would have to go on waivers. Clearly, Kyle Capobianco was one rung higher at least than Kolyachonok on the coaching pecking order right now. So I think that's why they chose to put Kolyachonok on waivers. Here's what we could see tonight. It'll be interesting to see if Harley and Lundqvist stay together or if they put Lyubushkin up there and Lundqvist and Petrovic. Suddenly they've got 3 righties, and because of their top pairing, they're happy with Lindell and Haskin. I don't think they're going to break those guys up. But my question to you is, Liam Bischel's a while down the road. Are you happy with Capobianco and his ability to fill this extra depth? Now that it seems like they have 8 or 9 guys that they're comfortable with.
Yeah, I think it's fine as far as, for me, the tie in this situation would go to, because I think either way, in theory, when they're healthy, you're going to have whoever it is would not be in the lineup. So for me, the question becomes, I think Capobianco realistically probably would have cleared waivers. I think a lot of teams would look at Capobianco and just be like, I have that guy in the system. I can go sign that guy. And Kolyachonok, for me, is someone who was only 24, has some upside, and has a little bit more long-term thing. So that's the spot for me where it didn't matter who was going to be, no matter what, they were both going to be healthy, scratched. But I would have done it, and obviously the Stars can do whatever they want and they can figure that out. But from an asset management perspective, I'm more worried, worried's the long term, but I think Capobianco probably would have had a better chance at clearing, which makes this an interesting decision and shows that Jim Nill is going off what the coach thinks, a little bit more of just pure asset management here on that. So, yeah, but I think this Stars team is, until Bischel's back, they have depth. They're with when you have Thomas Harley back in the lineup, when you have Nils Lundkvist back in the lineup, when you have what they have, all of a sudden we're talking about who's on the third pair. This isn't as big of a problem as other teams would have, but I still think it's semi puzzling of just a value read on who. I don't know. I'm not trying. I'm not trying to get too caught up in the conversation of whether a guy will clear or not, because maybe he does clear, and maybe I'm reading this completely wrong. But for me, just from an outside perspective, it looks like they waived the guy who's more likely to get claimed than the other one. And I might be missing your point, but that's how I look at
No,
this
that's
from
fine.
that decision. Yeah.
I think the way I look at it, Sean, it's hard to pick one, to be honest with you. Because again, they're different players. Like if Nils went out, you may replace him with Coco Cabana, although he is a lefty though. That Nils is a righty. If Petro goes out, Lyubushkin goes out, I think Olli Ochanek probably may fit into that style or that role a little bit more. So, but maybe that tells you how Dallas is thinking. Like if somebody goes out, we want that offensive guy before we want the other guy. Now, how old is Olli Ochanek?
I think he's 24.
I was going to say, I thought he was like 23.
He's younger, yeah.
So and so for me, I think there's a longer runway with him. Like having him and being able to grow into whatever he would maybe.
What do you think about, you made a comment, I wanted to ask you since we're on the defense. You made a comment about Thomas Harley late in the game against we were talking post-game. Said the last couple shifts, we started to see a little bit of what Thomas looked like. Is that encouraging as he can get back to what we expected from him?
Yeah, but when you told me you were going to ask me that question, I think I gave you the answer I didn't think about before I actually said that. The answer was Florida kind of quit playing, because it was, what was it, 4-0?
It was 4-0, yep.
But my point is that the last couple of shifts that Thomas was out there, I saw that get up and go, the confidence, jump into the play, control it, skating positionally. I mean, again, it wasn't even about positioning because it was more on the offense. It was about being more assertive and going. And so regardless of the time and score or whatever it was, that is where he needs to get back to being. And again, for Thomas, I think there's been times too that, and this may be natural too. I think that generally he's not a guy that likes to force a lot of things. He makes that good first pass, follows it up, offensive blue line, make sure pucks get to the net. Can he be a little bit better defending in his own end? Yeah, so can a few of these guys. But I just wonder if some of that trying to push things is because there's people watching in the building for what's coming up in February. I'm back to being, sometimes you want to prove that you're back to whatever they liked about you last year in the Four Nations thing like that. And you may not be quite there yet. But I think just by the timing of everything that's going on, I think he wants to make sure that he still stays in the front of their mind as far as that Canadian Olympic team.
All right. Before we get into our 3 stars of the week, which we'll do on the other side of the ad break, Sean, let's talk about Casey DeSmith getting the start. He hasn't lost a game in regulation since his opening performance against Vancouver all the way back in mid-October. He's been really good. Darcy Kuemper goes tonight. He's the starter for the LA Kings. Take us through the goalie matchup tonight.
I mean, this is I don't think Stars goaltending has been the problem recently, but this is kind of one of those moments from DeSmith's perspective where I'm sure you kind of get a chance to, get an edge and opportunity to thrive or make a statement or whatever term you want to use on that, right? Like your team has won a lot of games. They've lost back-to-back games. Had a bit of a no-show with the other guy in net on Saturday. As the backup goalie, you're there to help raise the boat when you can, to lift energy, all those, whatever other cliche we want to throw out there. And I think for Casey DeSmith, I think it's a good opportunity for that. Kuemper is an interesting guy, because Luds was just talking about, and it's for goaltending, it's a little bit, it's not like you have the puck on your stick and you kind of try to force things, but Luds talked about the Stars player and who was talking about trying to stay in front of mind for Team Canada. Darcy Kuemper's a guy who, with how well he's playing right now, we know Jordan Binnington's nets based off what happened at Four Nations and everything like that. But Darcy Kuemper is someone who's trying to play his way and be part of that Olympic tournament too, and he's done a pretty good job for the Kings. So interesting matchup from that perspective, and I'm looking forward to seeing what DeSmith does, because I think he's a guy who can. I think one of the reasons he has been the ideal backup to the Stars after obviously Scott Wedgwood walked and for that financial decision. DeSmith is someone who seems to rise to the proper energy of a game, which is something that I think is valuable in a backup. And this is a game where I think the Stars need some energy, especially if they don't have energy in the first period tonight after what happened Saturday, we are going to have a not so happy chat here on the right side in the postgame show. And so
right
hopefully
now,
Casey DeSmith.
by the way, Les, right now the chat is saying that they are leaning on Dr. Thunder for Ryan. It's not Thunder, Thunder.
Thunder.
Couple A's.
Cup of thunder.
Yeah.
A cup of thunder?
No, Dr. Thunder.
Oh, I was thinking cup of hot fudge or cup of hot chocolate.
I mean,
Cup of
it
thunder.
could go anywhere.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, Sean, about Kuemper. So I look at some of his stuff. Goals saved above expected, top 5 in the league. Goals against, better than expected, top 5 in the league. Top 3 in goals against. Is that Kuemper or is that the system? Because LA is a defensive team. They don't score a ton of goals. Do you think it's got a lot to do with the play or just fits in well with Kuemper?
I think it's a combination of the two. He's a guy who he had the fit wasn't there for him in Washington before, right? If I remember correctly, and that was him. He was traded for Pierre-Luc Dubois, and they made. I think he is a goalie who has moved into a situation that fits better for him stylistically. But you also have to give him credit for kind of how it's all played out. I look at that team playing right now, and I see kind of defensively, at least, I see confidence that the defense knows what the defense understands. He will make the saves that they need him, and he also knows that he doesn't have to exert himself too much. So I think it's kind of the puzzle pieces coming together. But I'll give Kuemper a little more. I'll give Kuemper a little more credit because I think he's done a nice job there.
All right, up next, we will hear a couple of great live spots, and then after that, we're going to do our 3 Dallas Stars of the Week on the DLLS Stars Pregame Show.
Let me pull a word out for you. Facetious. Facetious. He's being facetious. In other words, you're not going to see, or you pull out big words and things like that. You're toying with me. It's going to be bad. I agree with you. It's going to be awful. So let's just get to whatever you're going to show me, Ryan. I don't care what it is. I got him up here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too, Black Thunder, is the Dallas. Did I get it wrong again?
Yeah, it's another new. Every single time is different.
A whole list of them now.
It's like you have this
I'm looking at the black shirt and I'm thinking Black Thunder.
I love it.
Black Thunder with the 2 A's at the end. Okay, and then we got the green one. That's the Grinch one for Christmas time. And then about the hats. The hats.
Goodness.
The hats have been ordered, folks. Owen got me through it. The hats have been ordered.
You went home and finished the order?
I did. Well, I didn't. I did it the next day.
But you hit.
I sailed right through.
I love it.
And it says your order is here. It's being processed. And I even expedited it.
Oh.
I paid extra for him to get here on time.
Oh, so here we
got
go.
A couple green ones and a couple white. I want to go back to that logo one on the left there. What logo? Sean, do you look? Can you see this?
That crest. He can see that.
What's that crest, Sean? Is that Detroit? Is that a car factory going on there in Detroit? That reminds me of some car. Hot truck. You're thinking of it. What is it? What car? It reminds me of a car logo. No?
Poor Ryan's going to have 9 names after the end of the show.
Okay, Sean, see how I did you a favor here? You only got 30 seconds left.
There you go, Sean. Supporters Club.
Set you right up.
I do see that. Just like that hat is making me think. This is the Supporters Club. It's true sicko level stuff, to quote GM Ben, and it's for. Sorry, I'm just reading things on the screen now. But as a member of the Supporters Club, you get access to exclusive emojis and more. My favorite by far is the Luds one, but there's lots of other ones on that screen. The Bing Bong right there. Looks like the Dirk one. Basically, it's for the real ones. Join the Supporters Club. Do as GM Ben says, and you'll be happy. So
that's illegal.
Ooh. That was perfect, Sean. Right on the button. And Luds is an update thanks to T.O.
Yes, T.O. Thank you. You're right. That's what I was getting.
Cadillac.
That's where I was trying to go.
Looks like a Cadillac.
Yes.
It looks like
right.
the Cadillac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were on.
Yes.
So this is a great segue. And Luds is the king of segues. I don't know if he means to, but he's really good at it because
we're going to talk about the big Cadillac.
No, this is about what's on Luds' mind or what he's thinking, and it's Not 3 much. Stars of the week.
Oh, that one.
And so it's perfect to figure out what the heck does this brain over here connect to his 3 Stars of the week. So we start with this. Oh my goodness. And we haven't seen these. So Sean, we're not going to guess just yet because we're going to let people in the chat have an opportunity to take a look and think about it. But what would be his picks? Because that's something. All right, we'll come back to Luds. So in the chat, feel free to take your guesses. So since Sean is here, I'd love to start this 3 stars of the week with his 3 villains of the week. Sean, take us through your picks and why.
Yeah, we're gonna pull it on the screen first. Yeah. So we're gonna go with Bill Guerin, former star, now GM of the Minnesota Wild. For obviously, after his team defeated the Stars earlier this week, he went and made one of the biggest moves in the NHL, and went and got Quinn Hughes in a trade with the Vancouver Canucks, turning this Central Division from a meat grinder into whatever becomes above a meat grinder. I guess that's what we can all look up later. Someone can tell me that. So Bill Guerin, credit for that. And Bill can come off this list if he just came out and said Jason Robertson's on Team USA. So let's text him that we can kind of help him get off our 3 villains there. Matt Boldy gets number 2 from that game. Obviously, he was really good in that game. Dynamic. Actually had losses to pick from this week. This team had been so good recently that finding villains had been quite difficult. So Matt Boldy from the game against in Minnesota the other day, and then Brad Marchand in that Florida game where I considered giving the entire Stars effort a 3rd star of the week because it was villainous to their home fans, but I decided to go the opposite way and give it to someone else who was in the building. And Brad Marchand always fits in these conversations. So 3 stars,
Sean,
3 villains of the week here.
Tio wants to know if you got your Finnish Mafia shirt in the mail yet.
I did not yet. I also have been. There has been about 6 to 8 inches of snow in the last 4 days here, and so I have not gotten any mail in about 5 days. I don't think my mailman is still alive. I think he's stranded somewhere.
Weird. They should be able to handle.
We have a larger problem.
Snowfall, right? Up in Michigan, they're used to that. That's not.
They have a. They
mailmen aren't like they used to be.
It
used to be sleet, rain, snow. They get everything there.
Yep.
Not like they used to be. They're soft now.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back on track with Sam. Here are Sam's 3 stars of the week. He had Miro Heiskanen, Esa Lindell, and the Stars' penalty kill, 9 of 10. Although, unfortunately, one of their last attempts was the one that snapped the 35 straight streak. Here are my 3 stars of the week. Miro, who led the team in scoring with 3 points, which was a little bit less than their previous week, but he had a big primary assist as well. Then, of course, the shorthanded goal, the first one of the season for the Stars. Jason Robertson, who had 2 goals, including the game winner against the Jets on the power play. And Casey DeSmith, in a week that the Stars went 1-2, he had their only win. And although they beat the Jets, Casey had 30 saves on 33 shots. So he was my number 3 star. I had an honorable mention for Jamie Benn's fight because I thought that was a very notable moment in the past week. All right, Luds, let's go back to your thoughts. And everybody says they have no clue or they suck at this or Huey and Dewey or Louie. So enlighten us. Who are your 3 stars? Because even I look at this and go, I don't know.
Okay. So do you know what number 1 is?
It looks like a Renaissance painting.
That's a little Dutch boy.
Oh, that's
a
Matt
little Dutch
Duchesne.
boy. That's for Duchesne, and that's the comeback. And so
very enlightening of you.
Here's the truth. I had Huey, Dewey, and Louie because I'm thinking these guys, they set their own bar. They're not worthy of 3 stars. Anybody on the team. That's where I was going with this whole thing. Then I thought what Matt Duchesne has gone through and hearing it from Sam and all the other kind of stuff, that's why I have him in there. So he takes up Huey. Well, Dewey and Louie, there you go.
Zilch.
Nobody else
and nada.
Nobody else is worthy of anything because they need to get their goods back together. That's where I was with this whole week. They're not good enough, and I'm sure you probably got some stuff from Gully or something like that. But what Gully's thoughts were on the group last couple of days, but he hasn't thrown anybody under the bus.
I actually didn't clip any Gully.
Oh yeah, no, wait, I want to say,
mm-hmm.
When I saw Sean's 3. I actually almost sent you. In fact, it's still in my Twitter go out or the text out. I didn't send it to you. I wanted Sean to be the 2nd star because I thought they were great 3 stars. I thought those were his.
You
best
like the villains, best villains.
I just was going to have Sean's face up there, but Hot Chocolate sent me when we were talking about the other thing. He goes, I love it. Meaning the other one. So I thought I'm just going to leave it.
All right. So. I didn't clip Gully because I knew with 3 stars we wouldn't have a ton of time. We didn't need it. But I did want to ask you guys, when you look at this, the last week, we've talked about they look for high quality chances, but they don't do a lot of shot volume. But all 3 games this past week, they were under 20 shots on goal. They were in the teens for all 3 games. Even if you are looking for better chances and not just flinging for the sake of shooting, finishing a game under 20 shots on goal, to me, seems like it's a bar that should be crossed.
The question that I sent you, because we thought Owen was going to get down there and be able to talk to coach. I think that they're trying to pass pucks into the net now, which they're very capable of, I know. But they've pretty much made a lap around the league. By the way, the word is out, guys. You're a really good team. And the last couple of teams that they played where they had difficulties, they're playing them differently. They're saying, we're not going to let you stand around and just pass it through us and get it. We're going. Because the most important thing for players and power plays and things like that are time and space. That's what they want. You're supposed to take it away. So a couple of coaches have said, nope, not happening now with these guys. We are not going to play not to lose the game to these guys. We're going to take it to them. That's the way I felt what they did. So I just was wondering, can they get a little bit more direct? I'm talking about the best players. Can the best players get a little bit more direct instead of the tic-tac-toe? Because now they're all trying to take people away. They understand how good you actually are. And then I'm wondering if that's filtering over a little bit to, let's just call them the bottom 6 guys. Do they think that they can pass pucks into the net versus doing what you're supposed to do? Start directing pucks to the net. We always talk about what their jobs are, because I see those guys trying to make passes, through seams and things like that. That, let's just face it, you're just not the same as those top 6, 7 players that Dallas has. So that when they get on the power play, that's why they're so good. And that's why they can move around the perimeter, because they only need 1 or 2 little cracks and bang it in the net. Well, you saw on their power play the other night, Florida said, nope, no time. Ugh. No soup for you guys. We're taking time and space away. They pressure. They get frustrated, and they're like, wait, what's going on? Well, if you start directing pucks to the net, those lanes will open up again. Yep. So that's where I was going with what I was going to have you ask Gully today. But
which we'll do it. You already answered it. We'll do it again at some point. Let's talk about the Kings quickly here before we get to the end of this one. Sean, 2 things. Let's talk about Anze Kopitar, because he was hurt the last time the Stars played the Kings in October. And this is probably his last regular season NHL game in Dallas. He's already said his intention is to retire at the end of this season. I say regular season because there is a more than 0% chance that the Stars and Kings could meet in a playoff series. But what are your just short thoughts on Kopitar's career and what it means to see him still playing at 38 years old?
As from an NHL perspective, he's one of the most complete players that we've watched in this era, right? Like, his game has been so underratedly good. And I'm not sure whether that's just from where he played to reputation and what, but like he's someone to me that everything about his game, the details are so good. If he wasn't a forward, like we often talk about Miro as a defenseman, or we talk about defensemen, we talk about how good their details are. Kopitar is someone who really had all of that application as a forward. And it was so impressive to me to watch the way he could turn defense into offense, the way he can move a shift. He can basically kind of swing a shift one way or the other. And then the other thing that I always kind of thought of, and I'm going to admittedly hit a bit of a sore spot for some people in Dallas right now, because we saw how much the country of Slovenia fell in love with Dallas when someone was here before someone else decided to move them and uproot them. I always remember watching back to it was the Olympics. It was 2 Olympics. I can't remember whether it was 1 Olympics or 2 Olympics ago. And Kopitar has no idea if NHL players will even be allowed to go to the Olympics. And he's an NHL player and everything like that. And he goes and he represents Slovenia at the Olympic qualifying games to get in. And he tries to go there and play. I remember watching those. These games were in late August, I believe, right before training camp. Obviously a huge risk to potential injury and everything like that. And he's going and playing those games. And Slovenia didn't get in, but I remember watching those games in early August, and it was one of those things that always stuck with me about him, where this is a guy who understood kind of both everything on the NHL level, but he understood the platform of elevating the sport and everything that he did in his home country. And so always enjoyed watching him, enjoyed what he stood for, and he's if you're in Dallas tonight and you're at the game, and I hope many people listen to this show and then go to the game. If you're doing that, enjoy it for a little bit too.
You want to share anything on Kopitar?
I was just going to say, like, Kopitar, Malkin, Crosby, Bergeron, Chara, they all played the same way they did when they were 10, 12 years into it than they did their last year. They're first ballot Hall of Famers. It's what Kopitar is. Does he have the lightning speed and stuff like that? No, but he plays from the neck up, and he still has strength. I mean, he's a hard guy to play against.
Okay, two last things, and then we sign off on this one. First, overtime city. Sorry to have to say this in the pregame show, but the Kings have played.
Don't say that. Don't say that number.
They've played more times than anybody else in the league. 14 games past regulation.
I didn't want to say it because that just means we're going to overtime. Well,
they're 5-9, Luds. They have a 3.57, 35 winning percentage.
Points though.
But they're 4-4 in overtime and 1-5 in shootouts.
That's why we're going to overtime tonight. They're going to give up 2 goals, 3 goals at max.
6 of their last 12 games past regulation. Let me show you the forwards real quick though, because the big lineup news for the Kings is they have 2 centers out of the lineup due to an illness. They're calling it the flu. So, Ryan, if you can show me the LA forwards, both Quentin Byfield, which is disappointing, he's an exciting player, and Philippe Deneau are out. Luds, that to me means that Alex Turcotte moves up, but they're a little thin as Sammy Helenius comes back in. They don't have the center depth tonight that they otherwise would normally have.
Another reason to tighten things up and don't give them much. So there we go. Byfield's a big horse. I mean, he makes things happen out there. So, yeah, they're going to play their style. I mean, and again, Kempe is getting, what, $12 million now, and he buys into that. They all buy into the system that they've been saying that they're talking about. This is the way we're going to make it to the playoffs. This is how we're going to win the playoffs. That's a perfect example of this team.
All right. For Sean, for Luds, for insert nickname here, Ryan, I'm Owen.
Hot Toddy.
Hot Toddy now.
I like Hot Toddy.
Somebody even suggested chocolate stew earlier, which for whatever reason, that was T.O., I think. I know. Think about it. We'll be back for the post-game show, the 3 of us, right here. Actually, the 4 of us, because Big Fudge over there is ready too on DLLS.
I believe that they are going to crush these guys tonight. Now I know it.
We all silly like the mayor.